Today we are going to divide two polynomials using long division to find the quotient and the remainder. So if you remember, when you were in the lower grades in elementary probably, and possibly in middle school, you did some long division. So the one that we're going to divide here right now is 38 divided by 7. So the 38 went inside the box, the 7 went on the outside, and you thought, oh, 7 times what is 38 or close to 38 without going over? And you said, oh, 5 times. 7 can go into 38 there 5 times without going over. And you put that at the top there, and then you thought, oh, 7 times 5 there is 35. And then you subtracted those and got 3. So I'm going to name each of these parts here for you. 38 is our p of x. It's also called our dividend. What you're dividing by is called the divisor, or d of x. When you divide and you have something left over, that's called the remainder. We abbreviate that r of x. And then the answer of how many times 7 goes into 38 there is 5 times, and that's called the quotient, or q of x. So when you write this out, it goes p of x, which is 38, is equal to d of x, which is 7, times q of x, which is 5, plus the remainder, which is 3. And that makes sense. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 3 is 38. But being able to write it out in the form that they want you to do there. So now let's come over here and let's look at another one here. So we're supposed to take this nice polynomial here, and that is supposed to go inside the box. And on the outside there, we are dividing it by the divisor there, which is x minus 4. All right, so we're supposed to think x times what gives us a 6x squared. And that would be 6x, and you put that above the box there. Then what you want to do is you want to take 6x and multiply by both of the terms that are on the outside of the box there, by your divisor there. You have to take that 6x and distribute it through that. So it's 6x times x, which is 6x squared. 6x times a minus 4 there is a minus 24x. Now normally here we're supposed to now subtract everything off. I like to change the signs and add them together, because if I don't do that, I will forget. I will remember to subtract 6x squared minus 6x squared, but I won't remember to subtract negative 26x minus a negative 24x, and that sign's going to change. So I'm just going to change the signs and then add them together. So adding them together, the 6x to the second minus 6x to the second is gone. Negative 26x plus 24x, there gives me a negative 2x. Bring down my term there of 12. I have to think x times what gives me a negative 2x, and that'd be a negative 2. And then I'm going to distribute negative 2 through the x minus 4 there by each of those terms. So negative 2 times x is a negative 2x. And a negative 2 times a minus 4 there is a plus 8. Change those signs and add them together. So negative 2x plus 2x is gone. 12 plus a negative 8 is 4. All right. We are stopping there because the power here, 4 here, for the power of x there isn't there isn't an x there left in there. So x minus 4 cannot go into 4 there. So we are finished. So let's go ahead and let's write it out. So p of x there, they said to put p of x there first, which is 6x squared minus 26x plus 12 is equal to, and we're supposed to take our divisor there, and our divisor there is x minus 4. We're supposed to multiply that by our quotient, which is 6x minus 2. And then add together our remainder there, which is 4. And so that is our answer. All right, let's try another one of those. Over here, we've got put what's underneath the box. Now, something else to know about these is if your polynomial is missing one of the terms. So we have 8x to the fourth, and then we jump to a 6x squared. We're missing x to the third, so we're going to put in a 0x to the third there. All right, so then when we write it out, it's going to go 8x to the fourth plus 0x to the third. Underneath the box, we're dividing it by our divisor there, which is 2x squared minus x plus 2. We want to think 2x squared times what gives us an 8x to the fourth. That would be a 4x squared. Go ahead and take that 4x squared and distribute it through the 2x squared minus x plus 2. Go ahead and change your signs and add them together. The 8x to the fourth plus a negative 8x to the fourth is gone. Bring down your next terms. All right, so now we have to think 2x squared times what there is a 4x to the third there. So that would be a 2x. Take the 2x and distribute it through the 2x squared minus x plus 2. So once you have that, change your signs and add them together. Adding them together, the 4x to the thirds are gone. And actually, the 2x squareds are gone because when you add them together, they're 0 as well. And so now I'm getting a negative 7x plus 1. Now, we are going to stop at this point. The reason why we're stopping is because the highest power of x right now in our remainder right there, what we're trying to see if anything else goes into it, is less than the highest power of what we're dividing there by, the divisor. So let me write that out there for you. So if you look there, the power of what we're at there, it's x to the first here. And that is less than the highest power of what we're dividing there by. We have an x squared. So it already is less, so we can't go any farther. So now let's write out our final answer. So our p of x is equal to our d of x, which is 2x squared minus x plus 2, times our quotient there, plus our remainder. So there we have it. All right, so now on to our example 3 here. We are going to divide this 2x to the third minus 7x squared plus 5. What do you notice that's wrong about that we have to add in there? Yeah, it goes x to the third, x squared. It's missing the x term, so we need to put a 0x in there. So let's go ahead and put that underneath the box. What are we dividing that by? That's our divisor. That's x minus 3. So now you want to think x times what is 2x to the third. So x times what is 2x to the third? That would be a 2x squared. Go ahead and take that 2x squared and distribute it through the x minus 3. Change your signs and add them together. X to the thirds are gone. Bring down your other terms. Now you want to think x times what is negative x to the second. That would be a minus x. Distribute that minus x through the x minus 3 there, and we get a minus x squared plus 3x. Change your signs, add them together. All right, and now x times what is a negative 3x? It'd be a minus 3. Take your minus 3, distribute it through the x minus 3. Change your signs and add them together. All right, so again, notice we stopped here because the highest power of x down here, the highest power of x there is x to the 0. The highest power of x up here is x to the first. And so x to the 0 is less than x to the first, so we can stop. So let's write it out. So it says to write this one out in a different form, we're supposed to do p of x divided by the divisor there of x minus 3 is equal to our quotient there, and then plus our remainder divided by our divisor. And that makes sense if you think about it. If we go back to that 38 divided by 7, another way of writing that would be 5 plus. And then you take your remainder and you put that over your divisor. So you could write that out as 5 plus 3/7. All right, so then this one here, they just said to go ahead and find the quotient or remainder using long division. So let's go ahead and write this one out. Notice again, are they missing any terms up there? X to the fifth, x to the fourth, x to the third. Oh, yes, we're missing one. So let's put that in the box. It's also true over here of your divisor over here. If it's missing a term in there, you want to put it that in there as well. So I'm missing the x term over here, so I'm going to put a 0x there. All right, let's divide. So we want to think x squared times what is a 2x to the fifth? That would be a 2x to the third. Go ahead and distribute that all the way through. So change your signs and add. Bring down your next terms. So now we have to think x squared times what is 3x to the fourth? That would be 3x squared. Distribute it through the trinomial there. Change your signs and add. Bring down your terms. Keep going. Now think x squared times what is a negative 6x to the third? That would be minus 6x. Distribute that all the way through that trinomial over there. Change the signs and add. Don't forget to bring down that plus 1. So x squared times what is going to give you a negative 3x squared? So we need a minus 3 up there yet. So distribute that all the way through. Change your signs and add. We're going to stop now because the highest power down here in our remainder is less than the highest power of our divisor up there. So the highest power up there is a 2. Down in the remainder it's 1. So highest power in the remainder is less than the highest power in the divisor, so we're stopping. So let's write out our answer. So they asked us what q of x there is. That's what's above the box up there. So that's 2x to the third plus 3x squared minus 6x minus 3. Our remainder is what's left over, which is 8x plus 4. So that's all you were asked this time to find. What's the quotient and what's the remainder? So there you have it. All right, your turn. If you could try that one there out. So if you want to pause the video to do that and then come back to it, that would be great. All right, so over here, we're missing a 0x squared in there. So when I write it out, I'm going to make sure I put that in there, inside the box. X times what is x to the third there? That would be x squared. Distribute it through the x minus 1. Change my signs and add. Bring down those terms over there. X times what is x squared? It'd be an x. Make sure you distribute the x all the way through the binomial there. Change your signs and add. X times what is a negative 6x? It's a minus 6. Change your signs and add. And notice we get a remainder there of 0. So we're just supposed to find the quotient and the remainder. So we have them. So I can divide two polynomials using long division to find the quotient and remainder.